Hello and welcome to PSGL Round 2 here in COTA USA. We're in Q3, it's wet intermediate tyre conditions transferring over to be the dry tyres. It's a rather intense qualifying session with changeable conditions, and the last lap has always counted so far in Q1 and Q2. So we absolutely have to nail this lap. We decided to take worn inters for this lap, just in case we wanted to use the new intermediate tyres later on in the session. So, we don't know what the track can do. We don't know where the lap time is going to be. This is completely new conditions for me. I spent basically all of my preparation time for this race in Switzerland, doing some team activities at the Alfa Romeo Formula 1 factory. So effectively, I had one day of preparation ahead of this race, what meant I did no wet qualifying practice at all. I literally took my dry setup, I only had a day to prepare anyway, slapped on a few more front wing and sent it. But in that being said, we was able to do a purple sector 1. In Q1 and Q2, in fact, that was our strongest sector, and that also does show in the racing condition as well. Coming down into the hairpin, you see Wilson Houston at 42.0. The car understeers quite a lot. We had a lot of rear instability under braking.
Yeah, the track is super grippy. Stay out, finish the lap.
Yep. You can hear me having a conversation with my engineers deciding if we want to box or stay out. We decided to stay out and try to get a lap time on the board. But as I was saying, we had a lot of rear instability under braking, especially in the intermediate and wet conditions of this qualifying session. So definitely a possible performance area to analyze and improve for the future races going forward. Into the final set, the rear tyres are absolutely toasted. Like I say, taking a warm set of intermediates right now, and they are overheating as we arrive to this final sector of the track. Turning into the second class corner, you can see basically becoming a drift car through this apex. It's not fast to drift, of course. It was just we didn't have any grip on the rear, but out of the final corner, squirt the front up to the line, and we actually go provisionally P3, and heading into the final runs of qualifying, we decide to put on the soft tyres. So does Bari, so does Wilson, and does a few other cars as well. So, will this be the right decision? Will this be the wrong decision? The track looks very wet so far, but it can change in a click of a finger. Out of the final corner, get the car straight, point the car, to hit the throttle, and now we are launching into a final lap of qualifying. If we get the gamble right, could be potential pole position or fighting for pole position. Down to turn 1, instantly locking the rear brakes and wide in turn 1. Already 3-4 tenths down on the delta. Can we take turn 2 flat out? Only just flat out. You can see the rear traction trying to get away from us, and you can see the front tyres are just not biting into the tarmac at all. We have no real predictability of grip. The rears are sliding, and we're already 7 tenths down on a delta, trying our hardest to get the car to the apex, and you can see already sliding as we rise over the crest of the hill. This is not ideal, this is not good, but that being said, we still have the capability to try and maybe improve our lap time later on around the circuit. Because the track can dry up, it can get better, it can get faster, but we are 1.2 seconds down, so we have to absolutely send this. Jake Benham behind us decided to go for intermediate tyres, so he is gaining us quite rapidly right now. You can see we're a little bit worried for him coming down to the breaking point, and you can see really locking up the rear tyres and backing the car into the apex, losing traction on the rear. You see Jake Benham with full colours behind, he sends up the inside, as he's quite rightfully to do. To be honest, he's on the faster tyres, a little bit of contact on the exit as well. And then we try to go back up the inside as well, as we're rightfully entitled to do. We do leave in space on the exit just about, but you can see DRS has now been enabled. So we went to the soft tyres about a minute and a half too early. Coming through the final 60 turns, the rear tyres are basically just giving up right now, trying to get the car into the apex, trying to make up lap time. Out of the second last corner, into the final corner, 2.3 seconds down the delta. We're not going to make that time back up, drifting through the final corner, just out of frustration, desperation to make any lap time. And you can see we are finishing up this session in P7, to be honest. P7 on the grid. But with that being said, let's get straight on to the starting grid with 3 lights, 4 lights, 5 lights. We're on the hard tyre, lights out, and away we go and get an absolute phenomenal start, especially compared to Bari on our left hand side. You can see we're already ahead of him into the braking zone. We're going to go up the inside of Jake Brendon. You can see Bari's on the inside pushing us into the car on the right hand side, and Bari's able to get away from that, and then you see we squirm and get the traction, and we're down back into P8. So yeah, basically can happen in racing, like I say in my previous PSGL video. Bari sent it up the inside of us, and effectively, with that being said, we got pinched and pushed into Jake, and for it to denote so on the right hand side. But it's turn 1 on COTA, the tight racing can happen.
Chill?
You can see me asking an Alfie Butcher, it's going to be chill.
Probably, yeah.
And
nope,
the reason I asked that is because he's in the same agency as me.
Good one, mate.
So I was wondering if he was going to work together, and he didn't, as we actually made contact from hitting me in the rear into the next turn. But speaking of making contact into the next turn, Otis sends it up the inside and absolutely sideswipes Marcel, and that was a lunge and a half. That was a dive bomb of the century, lit the stamp and send it, was fully enforced there. But with all that squabbling, being hit by Alfie and ultimately losing time because of the contact between Otis and Marcel,
I am actually genuinely really
we are
sorry
now
for Marcel
9
in
tenths
this
away
situation.
from Race Leader. We're back in the position where we started, but we are really in a compromised position, losing out on turn 1 and losing out overall lap time, race time through the following instance later on in the lap. But that being said, that's done and dusted. We can only have our eyes forward, moving forward, looking forward to see what we could do into later in the race. End of lap 2, you can see Otis somehow didn't pick up damage from that contact, and now is on the soft compound tyres right behind me. And we decide not to defend it. We're going to let him go up the inside of us because there's no point to defend, there's no point to fight. He's on the soft compound tyres. We're going to aim to get him back later in the race and really try to maximize our strategy as we go forward. You can see just pulling to the right hand side, not trying to use his slipstream. I prefer to get a little bit less dirty air than to be closer through this first sector. As you can see in the dirty air, the understeer is quite real, and it's very much something that I do not want to be using at my tyre deg at this very moment in time. Otis sends up the inside of Philippe Racenader. Philippe doesn't really fight it right now in the entry anyway, and you can see they're both pressing their battery down this DRS straight. You can see we don't even use our battery because we know there's no point. We realistically won't have a chance to overtake them even if we did press our battery. So we decided to be smart, strategical, and save that battery for later in the race. Lap 8 this is where the medium and soft tyres maybe can start falling off. Philippe Racenader already went for the pit stop, and we are right up behind Otis. We've got about 7-8% more battery than him. You can see he's flashing up ahead of us. You can see he does not go for the pit stop on lap 10. He's going quite far into the race on these soft compounded tyres, and we are looking after our hard tyres quite well. Lap 11, all over the back of him now at the end of the first sector, starting the second sector of the Circuit Americas lap. You can see squaring off the exit, getting perfect traction onto the straight, deploying battery. We've got 1.5 seconds to Bari Borman up ahead, and it's critical for us to try and close down on the straight, get in the DRS of Bari so we do not become vulnerable to the cars behind. Being a lone duck without the DRS is a very bad position to be on the F1 23 game. 1.1 tenths to Bari up ahead. Bari's also flashing the battery, so we're relatively even on our battery usage, but he's going to have the DRS of Shanaka Clay up ahead, and that is really going to hamper us as we look to go forward in this race. And you can see lap 13, he is 1.7 seconds ahead. Shanaka has made the pit stop. Lucas has not made a pit stop just yet, but that really hampered us because we were not able to use the DRS to the advantage that it has in this game, which is very powerful, and Bari was able to use and utilize it to its maximum effectiveness right up behind the Williams. So we have no battery, and this is actually going to be our in lap. We're looking to undercut Bari up ahead of us as well. We've got a 1.7 second gap to make up. I have to say as well, our pace was very strong in these laps, especially in the corners. Of course, we couldn't really do anything on the straight due to our lack of battery. But we was able to maintain the gap to Marcel and Alfie behind, and given how powerful the DRS is, that was something that I was very proud of in the race, and the ability to maintain the track position in doing so. Lap 13 coming into the pit lane, and we make sure to keep it within the line on the outside, which is the critical. You can cut the inside red part of the track a little bit, and that's within the regulation. We're going to be going to the medium compound tyre in the pit lane.
Push on exit, you'll be battling with...
you can hear my engineers giving me
I thought I'd
some
take it
very
easy,
good
to be honest.
information about pushing on exit, met with a little bit of jokiness and fun from me in the actual pit box itself. Coming out, releasing the pit lane limiter. Alfie Butcher's behind me on a fresh set of mediums as well. Fabrizio Donoso is just up ahead, and we are going to be needing to hunt him down and pass him as fast as possible. I did not know it right now, but I will know it imminently.
Yep, we've got that.
Fabrizio is actually on an old set of hard tyres. And you can see how quickly the grip transition is when you're going from new tyres to battling old tyres. You can see, with no disrespect, Fabrizio is extremely fast. He just does not have the pace right now on those old set of tyres. And there's also something I want to say, a big respect to Fabrizio here, because we just went past the DRS line, and a lot of drivers, I think, would try to lift here and to steal the DRS away from you. So I respect Fabrizio for not doing this, him understanding that we are in different races. There. He hasn't made his pit stop yet.
Can you come out
in a different race to me? So big respect to him for just not trying to do little fights and understanding the bigger picture as well. You can see I was asking for them to do a radio communication to Alfie Butcher behind us. As I could say earlier in the video, he's in the same agency. So I was thinking that we can work together and really push forward. I do believe right now we're in a good position to try and win this race. Shanaka Clay was P2. Now he's on a worse set of tyres, and he's only 3 seconds ahead of us. And we're on a very durable, very good set of medium tyres, which are very powerful around COTA on this game. Out of the final corner, and Bari is going to be exiting the pit lane. And remember, he was 1.7 seconds ahead of us, and we are clear of him. Coming out onto the DRS straight, lap 15. Alfie Butcher is closing on me rapidly in DRS. You can see I do a little weave to say I don't want to fight, and he sends it down the inside, and he's totally in his right to do so, but he misses the apex, goes wide, and this is costing us so much time right now, and this is really not what we need. He totally is right to fight, totally is right to battle, as he is doing on lap 16. The following lap, he clears me quite easily using the DRS. But definitely we could have saved a lot of lap time in this whole situation right now. Lap 17, Lucas is boxed for the soft compound tyres. He goes down the inside of Bari, sends it down the inside of us. We leave the space on the apex. Lucas leaves the space for us on the exit, and this is the racing I love. This is the clean racing, you know, respectful racing. Lucas is a great champion in his own right as well in F1 esports. You can see he sends it down the inside of us. We left him the space. We saw him, and he saw us on the exit and gave us the respectful racing room. So, top props, top respect to Lucas for that battle, that highlight. I think it was definitely a great thing you could see in the racing. See, Lucas goes down the inside and gets the move done against Alfie, but right now we're right against Alfie, right in the slipstream of Lucas, right in the slipstream of the Alpine of fully placed right ahead. We have no battery, we just have the slipstream, we have the DRS open. Now going down the inside, you see Lucas is going to be on the outside line. We try to get down the inside of Lucas Blakely, but he has the soft fresh tyres and we are not able to do so. Alfie Butcher does the cut back, but we're going to send it back down the inside, get the move done, and we are back right up behind Lucas. I should be saying that as well. Getting the move done cleanly. Very, very critical that we got that place back, I have to say. Now, on lap 18, Jake Benham, who had not boxed for his new set of tyres yet, is probably going long, maybe hoping for a safety car, and we think about lunging it down the inside. I think Jake leaves us the space just in case we were looking to do so, but we decide to play it smart, strategical, and wait for the main DRS straight here, because it's just low risk needed. We don't need to be diving people up the inside and pushing them off the track. Like I say, the battling with Lucas is the battling that we want to see going on in the future of PSGL and F1 esports as well. So definitely, I did not want to be pushing Jake off the track there. Going down into turn 1 though, we're getting the move done cleanly, getting the car to the apex, running a little bit wide because we did meet a little bit of marbles, costing us a bit of grip. But now lap 19, we've got 2.4 seconds to Lucas Blakely ahead, 2.8. So we did lose quite a lot of time relatively in that battling, and we did lose the ability to save a bit of battery. Lap 21, though, we are closing rapidly using the pace of these medium compact tyres. We are 1.1 seconds away, so close to the DRS detection point of being in the battle for the win here in COTA USA. Now lap 22, you're going to see me absolutely sending it through turn for the first sector, 1 second to Schnackerklay up ahead. Through the right, you can see really pushing the front tyres, bring the car back over the right hand side, through the left-hander, and just throwing the car at the apexes right up against the white line. You can see sliding the car back over the crest of the hill. So easy to lose the car, so easy to spin in that situation when you're fighting tyres that are on the edge of their temperature operating window, out of the hairpin, opening up DRS for the first time in a very long time, and now we're in a very good position. We've got good tyres, good pace to try and save a little bit of battery and look forward later in the race. Lap 24, you can see we are all over the back of Schnackerklay. Our medium compact tyres are still working fantastically. We have saved them, we have nursed them, we are really looking after them to give ourselves a good chance of moving forward in this later phase of the race. Lucas Blakely, Otis, Patrick Seaforth, Schnackerklay, myself, Alfie Butcher are the top 6 heading into the final part of the race. We are on around 20% battery. A lot of the cars are flashing using their battery up ahead, so we're trying to wait strategically to try and make the overtake later on. Patrick Seaforth has a 3-second penalty. That is something very vital to note in this period of the race as we head on to lap 25. Right now, we know that Otis will get a penalty for what happened with Marcel on lap 1, and we know that Patrick Seaforth has a penalty for 3 seconds. So providing we stay where we are, we will get already a podium paying position.
Please advise some fuel on pit straight.
You can hear me asking
straight.
about fuel because I noticed that we are very, very light on fuel right now, to say the least. I already knew that I had to do some lifting coasting at this point in time, but I didn't know just how much I would have to do. So asking my engineers for a bit of vital, critical, race important information to try and follow out and end this race. You can see already lifting and coasting before I had the instruction from the engineers that lifting coasting is absolutely critical.
How much trouble are we in?
We'll be fine. Just lift and coast into the.
You can see my engineers saying that I need to lift and coast into the corner, so I do a 50-meter lift and coast into the end of the back straight. This also will help the fuel, but also will help the battery and give us a good opportunity to close up in the later phase of the race. You can see now, lap 26, we are still lifting and coasting into turn 1, getting our fuel back under control. Alfie Butcher's right up behind us, so we have to make sure that we do not become vulnerable. We stay tight in the slipstream and Schnackerklay up ahead, and that is exactly what we're doing. Second to last lap of the race, lap 27 or lap 28, and now it is really starting to kick off ahead of us. We're in a good position with fuel. We're going to be very tight, but we should have just about enough to get to the end of the race. We're in a very good position with battery as well, over, well, near 30%. And we are 4/10 behind Schnackerklay. We've been saving our tyres a lot of this stint as well. Half a second to Alfie Butcher behind. So we are in to the final sector of lap 27. Not sliding the car, not overheating the tyres, not taking life, not taking grip away from ourselves. Out of the final corner, smooth on the power, opening DRS onto the final lap of the race. And now you can see the cars ahead are pressing battery. You can see Otis goes up the inside of Lucas and they make contact. Lucas gets pushed wide onto the marbles. There's more contact between Patrick and Schnackerklay up ahead. They're 3 wide. Lucas on the inside. Lucas retains P2. And now they're 2 wide between Schnackerklay and Patrick Seaforth. We actually lift off the floor. We do not want to be involved in drama. You can see we're looking down the inside, making sure that we do not cut the corner right now. And then we are a bit vulnerable to Alfie, only 2/10 away. But our fresh, well, not fresh tyres, but relatively fresh tyres compared to the cars ahead are really showing right now. Able to stay super close to Patrick Seaforth in the DRS. And now we have got about 20% more battery than Patrick on to the main DRS straight. See Patrick flashing, Lucas will be flashing, Schnackerklay might start flashing later on the straight as well, but that doesn't matter. Opening DRS, opening the overtake button now following down in the slipstream, and now we're right around the outside of Patrick. Made contact already. Patrick hits us on the straight, trying to go around the outside of Lucas. Nothing doing there. Lucas retains the racing line. Again, go clean racing between me and Lucas. Down the inside of Lucas. Nothing doing there. Patrick Seafoss, we're going to squeeze him to the outside. Bit of racing contact. Almost turned around. Then Patrick is going to dive down the inside and completely shove us off the track. And that gives us a 3-second time penalty. As you can hear me saying, that's going to be removed. But now we've got bigger problems. Jarno's looking around the outside. And I have to say, I had to put my hands up. I turned in a little bit here because I didn't expect Jarno to be so far at the inside. And you can see we get a little bit shoved wide. But the instant between me and Jarno was just racing. That can just happen. I didn't expect it to be so far at the inside. And it can just happen. But with all that being said, we are P10. Without the penalty, we should be about P5. So I'm going to say P5 in this race because that penalty will be removed. Should be removed anyway. But yeah, very up and down race. Very tight racing here in PSGL. As always, the grid is so tight, so competitive, so amazing. And we are able to realistically finish up P5 given the whole circumstances of the race and that 3-second penalty being removed. So congratulations to the other drivers on the grid. It was a great, fantastic, close race once again. And I am so excited to get back out racing for the next race. And yeah, I'm loving F1 23 so far. I think it's suiting my driving style much better. So I'm really excited to be making more content and be making more videos going forward. So thank you so much for watching. I've been Brendon Leigh. Hopefully you enjoyed this video and I will catch you for the next race. Thank you so much. Ciao, ciao. Bye bye.